Hello!
What are we doing?
We're getting ready to go see the Predator.
I know, fun fact, these are lethal. I just ripped half of my lip off by putting the ticket in my throat.
Yeah, don't put the ticket
camera,
in your
put
mouth.
the camera up, look at the lip. Towards my lip. Yeah. Right there.
Wow. Cinematography by Larry Fong and directed by Shane Black. So we avoided all the ads now.
Have we really?
I
Is that why
think-
you're
I
waiting
think,
outside?
Yeah, avoiding the trailers and waiting for you, yes.
So sweet.
Alright,
So
shall
sweet.
we?
Yes.
Shall we?
We shall.
Thank you very much.
Excited? No, not really.
Yeah, no, I'm
What's-
enjoying it.
Okay. We're just out of it. Predator. The Predator.
The Predator.
Yeah, pretty
So,
good.
first impressions?
I really enjoyed it.
Enjoyable, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was.
good. I'm
that was
glad I
fun.
saw the original one though.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
glad we have a conclusion to the first ever rant at the cinema. We have a conclusion to the stop Snapchatting in the cinema story, so
Yeah.
that's good.
You can
It's always good to tell people to stop.
speak louder if you want, because I'm not sure with the
That's a good
thingy.
point.
I invite you guys to read the last act of the film in the screenplay that leaked,
All right, okay.
because that's the part that was heavily changed.
Right, okay.
So yeah, that's very interesting nuggets and solves different issues that occurred because of the rewrites. But still, it was still great.
All right, nice.
We'll see you with the episode.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye guys.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hey guys.
It's us again. Today is all about the Predator. I'll start with the weirdest coincidences of all. Today's the 5th of October, which is also Jacob Tremblay's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, it was in Room, Wonder, and the Predator. He turns 12 today.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous of that kid.
We have a sequel. Adam, would you like to talk about Snapchat for a second?
Oh. I didn't honestly think that thought it would never happen again. So for newer listeners that didn't pick up way back when we began last year, around about it was at the screening of It, birthed the don't Snapchat at the cinema rant, which is I think is a separate little file that you can find buried deep on the podcast page or on YouTube, wherever. It's everywhere.
Stop your phones.
Stop your phones rant. That's it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go and find that. It's on YouTube as well. We'll share the link with this episode. But during that, I saw a woman Snapchatting repeatedly during It, which I was infuriated with, and I went on this long, big rant. Anyway, me and Anouk had dinner together, and then we met up with Yann to see this film. So we're just sitting, last screening of the day, just chilling out. And then two people sat in front of us, and they were like, you know, as you do, like turning your phone off and stuff. And then it got to the certification card, and the girl took a photo for Snapchat and started typing. I'm like, oh no, really? Then she didn't even send that one. She didn't like it. She took another one at the same time and did it again. I was like, oh, right, okay. Maybe that's it, though. Maybe it's just to say, oh, like a movie I'm seeing, that's fine. I'm like, right, I can live with that. It happened again, and I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I can't have done this big, massive rant and just, I can't do it again. I'm like, I can't see the same thing happen and not do something. So I said to myself, right, if she does it again, if she takes the phone out, I'll say something. And she did. So I leant forward. So in between the two space that you have in a cinema seat, which must have been pretty fucking terrifying for them. So I just came in and I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry," and they about shit themselves. They took them by surprise, because as you do, you don't expect anyone to pop their head through beside you in the cinema. To which I apologized. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I said, "Do you mind not Snapchatting during the movie, or even if you are, could you move?" And then went back to watch the rest of the film.
It's just that it's in your eye line, and
that
the phone screen is really bright. And because you're watching a film, it's so distracting, and I think as well, like it even more hurts you because as an actor, you know how much work goes into a film, especially something like this. And so it's like, can't you wait until this film is over?
I think people don't realize that there are other people there, you know. As soon as you sit down, I'm just watching a film because of the accessibility to films, like with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Blu-rays, you know, it's like really easy to get access to films. You know, you just sit and watch them on your laptop, and you'll be on your phone. I'm pretty sure Paul said this when he was here. Actually, he said something along the lines of that, like the way we watch cinema has changed.
Yeah,
I think he did say that.
Yeah, because also you can have a type of cinema screen in your house if you have the money. Like, you don't need to go to the cinema. You can just find anything anywhere, and it's just super easy to get. No, but I also don't think it's that. I think it's just that, like, you feel like you're watching a thing and it's for you, and everyone else doesn't matter. And it's like, actually, no, this is a communal. Oh, let's not go through this again.
Anyway, to wrap it up,
yeah.
I have to give credit to the girl. She did not do it. She was on her phone like near the end of the film, but I'm like, that's whatever. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Well, it is a big deal, but it's like it's not worth making a big deal. But she took it really well and didn't do it again. So I'm like, right. So if you go about it politely and just say, "Do you mind not being on your phone?" 9 times out of 10 it'll work. So I implore you, if you're at the cinema and you see somebody doing it and it annoys you that much, just say something. I was nervous. I was like, should I not? And I decided to do it, and I'm glad I did because I got to enjoy the rest of the film. So
yeah.
The conclusion to the rant series is just act upon it. If you feel that way as I did back and then, I did not do what I said I would do I felt like doing in the rant, which was throwing this phone across the cinema. Oh. But I dealt with it in an adult way, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. And the fact that I can now, from now on, if it happens, I feel confident enough to just, because I know I've got a proof that it works, that I can act upon it. So there you go. It does work. Proof in action.
Proof of concept.
Proof of concept.
Yeah.
Short disclaimer before we start on The Predator. Our original intros on episodes contained the line, "We give you informed opinions on movies we watch together." Well, we changed that thing quickly into like 10 seconds recap of what happened in the episodes. And now actually we rarely watch films together anyway. The words I'd like to emphasize from the original intro, informed opinions, which was based on the fact that we're actors, so we love movies and we know about them. I'm telling you this because for movies like this one, the Predator or Venom, if we decide to talk about it at some point, as we've seen and appreciated other versions of those characters, we have expectations based on those films. So that may explain what's coming or not. So The Predator with Jacob Tremblay and Olivia Munn. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure about the names of the other people, but
Sterling K. Brown, and there was also.
I don't have.
Have we stopped doing the stars?
Yeah, sorry,
it's fine. There was so I think we could do that now. The scene?
Yeah, sure.
So there was a scene that was removed in this movie for some shady reasons. Actually, the guy, for once it was not alleged, it was actually he pleaded guilty. But anyway, it's a scene that comes and introduces the female lead. Well,
Casey.
kind of. Yeah,
Casey Brackett.
Okay. Interior, dog park near UC Berkeley, day. Casey Brackett, 27, sits on a bench. Red penciling papers. Leashes dangle from one arm. A dog barks crazily off-screen. Casey to unseen dog.
Summer, stop that. That's not yours. Does it look like it's yours?
A jogger with a dog runs by. Eyes Casey, perhaps ogles would be more apt. He backtracks, jogs in place beside her, catching his breath.
How's it going?
He huffs, as though having just pushed a boulder uphill. Elaborately towels his neck. A curt dog yelp off-screen. Casey to unseen dog.
Teddy, knock it off. You can see she doesn't like that.
The jogger, persistent, extends his arm.
See you around here, Doug Amarto.
It conspicuously scritches the ears of his designer dog.
This is Barcolepsy. She's a sleeping thing. She's a lab.
Labradoodle. Hyperallergenic cross between a poodle and a Labrador.
Casey starts to walk. Persistent guy, following.
Right. That's right. Are you a breeder?
Science professor, Berkeley.
Oh, what'd you teach?
Evolutionary biology. The science of how creatures change, adapt.
You mean like how a man changes when he meets an attractive woman?
Casey grins sourly.
More like survival of the fittest.
You believe in that stuff?
You mean science? Yeah. Yes, I do. It's funny. Darwin thought it was all about strength, agility, intelligence. These days, you just have to be a rich, fat, white guy.
What?
Drop a CEO into the Serengeti. Only question, what colour animal shits him out? My vote? Reddish, tan?
The jogger. Gulp. He nods slowly.
I don't want to hold you up, so...
He bolts. Casey reaches in her jacket, fishes out a silver flash, swigs. A kindly old lady looks up and says, I couldn't help overhearing. Can I ask you something, Professor?
Please.
What do your students call you?
Professor, mostly.
Maybe they should call you Sunshine. A voice interrupts.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Dr. Brackett.
Casey turns. 3 CIA agents stand there. A sedan with government plates idles ominously behind them. The lead agent is Church, in his 30s.
I understand you enjoy stargazing.
Casey blinks. What the Then we get it. Some kind of code.
My man will take care of your dog. Would you come with me, please?
Off Casey, rattled. Et voila. Okay, so that's a scene that establishes a bit more what Casey is about.
Yeah.
Really, Casey. Is it like many people think that she was just useless in the movie? What is your opinion?
Well, funnily, when I left the cinema, I heard 2 people over discussing that Casey just kind of tags along in the film.
I disagree. I think she was someone who had a science background. She was an intelligent woman, and she wasn't supposed to be like running around with a gun. Like, she was just put into that situation. I don't think that's a problem. Like, if you want to be a science person, then you might not be as, you know, you can't be a science person and a soldier. I don't really know what they were expecting, but every time that they had a science question, she was able to like put that perspective onto the whole situation. I think that was important.
I also think she's pretty well established when she's like in the scene where she sees the predator, like in the lab. I think that scene we just read is fine, but I think the scene later on does a better job of establishing who she is. Really.
Yeah. I quite liked her.
Okay, yeah. I'll talk quickly about the production. Well, no, just a few words. Basically, so this movie was supposed to be released last year, but it's got rescheduled at least 4 times, and it just got out in September. I made sure I had you watch a video of Shane Black explaining all the reshoot thingy just before we recorded. The entire third act of this movie was I don't know if you had time to read the original script.
I read most of the end, yeah.
It is completely different. The FBI guy just gets shot. He gets shot. Instead of having this copping out like we'll dance afterwards kind of thing. The guy is like kidnapped his son, and so it was a bit light to just have them like, okay, we'll cooperate for a second, whereas he's just gets shot in the original version. And there are multiple. There are 2 nice predators that are working with humans.
Right.
The big predator is known in the entire script as the upgrade.
Right.
And there are also multiple like spider predator hybrids, plenty of stuff that probably could have costed a bit more. And
Oh, thank God that wasn't in there. I would have screamed out of the place.
yeah, I love spiders too. As Shane Black said in the interview, because that's something I was wondering. Sometimes it happens to have multiple cuts on the Blu-rays or DVDs, right? But the original cut was just never finished. The effects and stuff. So, but when I first saw was I think the Wolverine Origins and Highlander Endgame, some of the effects were not just in. So it was like they just wanted us to have a feeling and to see what it looked like without some other cuts. So maybe they could do that at some point, but with all the hybrids not in, it's a bit useless to have. I thought I would make some quick quick recaps on what the films, because we talked about the 87 original, but we never touched on the second and the third one.
Right.
Right, so first off, shout out to Kevin Peter Hall. Well, he died a while ago, but he was the Predator in the first two movies. He was 7 feet 2 inches.
Jesus.
Wow. Is that one of the reasons why he died so young?
Yeah.
I don't know, but 35, that's young.
That's why you get lots of older, smaller people, because it doesn't take as much strain on your heart to pump blood around your body.
Right.
That's why you see old, small ladies.
Because I know that the guy in the alien costume also died young, but he had sickle cell, so
Jesus.
I don't know if that's
I know,
horrible.
I think he said pneumonia related to AIDS on Wikipedia.
Oh, wow, Jesus.
Awful.
Yeah. I'll talk about the budgets and stuff, the return on investment at the end of the episode. But for now, so Predator 2, 3 years after the first one. Most of the films are around 1 hour 47 minutes, except the new one, which is 2 hours.
Yeah.
The second film was 10 years after the events of the first film. Bill Paxton was in this one as an annoying reporter, as he was also in the Alien sequel. Adam Baldwin, who is very well known by Joss Whedon addicts, and he was also in Chuck, which is quite cool. Some new weapons introduced, like the net.
Did you say Adam Baldwin?
Yes.
The other brother?
No, is not in the family.
All right. Because there is another brother. There's 3 of them.
Yes. His character is a mix of Aliens Ash and Ghostbusters Dickless.
Right, cool.
What?
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
In this Predator 2, we get introduced to the Predator Rang. And the whole concept is the Predator, just like Batman, killing armed guys in LA. We learn why they have a helmet. We are getting introduced with this nice nickname, Pussyface.
Oh, God.
We get to know how to deactivate the arm bomb, aka a Luke Skywalker moment.
Use the Force.
We see, as I talked in the first episode, the trophy wall, and I think there was an Alien versus Predator comic book before, so the movies probably came from that.
There's been about 3 video games as well. They've been going on for a long time.
Now we have multiple Predators at the end, and we see I think 3 or 4 different types of vision via the helmet. And in the interview, I don't know if you clocked that, but Shane Black says that the Earth champions failed twice. That was the first 2 movies. There is a failing, but they part in good terms. Now Predators, 2010, so way later. Jungle again. The Gatling is back. I got a Lost or Cube vibe kind of thing. So it's 3 guys and a girl landed on an island, and they just wake up while they're free falling. They have no idea what they're doing here. Adrian Brody is making the big voice, like Star-Lord to Thor. Like, you will not take our starship, sir. Quill, are you making the big voice just to impress the pirate angel? No.
This is how I always talk.
Yeah. There was also a Truman Show feel because the jungle was actually not on another planet, so they were being tested.
Oh, God.
Wait, so they're on another planet?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Exposition machine Adrian Brody. That's pretty much what he does throughout the whole movie.
God.
The heat vision in that one looks fucking terrible. It was, yeah, it's a mix of new stuff and I mean in that new one they just did. It looks a bit more like the original one, which is better. But in Predators it looks awful. Oh, you can guess the lines before they are coming at least 7 times.
Oh, dear.
Whereas in the Predator, it just happened to me once, I think, and I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. When McKenna is talking to his son about the childhood, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
We get Predator dogs for the first time in the Predators. Predator drones. Lawrence Fishburne back in the same role we see him in all movies. There is a Japanese guy who has a scene a bit like Billy on the tree trunk at the end when he's like removing his shirt and about to fight the predator, the incoming predator. Except that in this one, the Japanese, he has the cat in a fight and they bleed on both sides and they just die, both of them.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, that plot sounds abysmal. Like, oh, we're on an alien planet, we're fighting aliens.
Oh,
That's it, right?
There is a treason twist with
Adrian Brody is a predator.
no,
Wow.
but it's just like in Aliens, Alien Resurrection. They cast a guy who was a bad guy. He was Venom in Spider-Man 3. Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Topher Grace was in that, and he was. So I think we're you know, if you found something that you would like, that interested you in those 2 movies, you can go watch them or not. If you found something that anyway, 2018 now. I learned that the predators or hunters, they actually have a name thanks to the extended universe.
Right.
There was a book called Predator If It Bleeds. An anthology published recently with a 16 short story, and that race is over centuries, extraterrestrial hunters of the Yautja race, also known as predators, have encountered and stalked human on Earth and in the depth of space. Offered here are 16 all-new stories of such hunts, written by name of today's most extraordinary authors.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so they have a name.
Yautja.
Now I'm going to the new guy inside the suit. Brian Alexander Prince, 6'9.5".
Wow.
Stunt performer, creature work, suit work, prosthetics, wire work, stage combat, improv.
Of course.
And I think I'm good on those things. Right from the start, we get McKenna, who has the thingy on his arm, and I had a Cowboys versus Alien vibe. It started a bit like that movie.
I
don't know if
haven't seen it.
It's Cowboy. I talked about that. I
Yeah,
think
you saw. I know this episode because your mum hates Daniel Craig.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh. Fair enough.
Yeah, and there is a Jelly Bean Ning in that scene. The first scene that in the script. There is the cloaking ball. We know it's a cloaking ball because it's written in the script, obviously. But he's activating it right away in the script, whereas they wait a bit more and have it in the shop, in the post office here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you get I did get a Losers Club 2017 vibe in terms of the Loonies banter.
Yes.
I guess, yeah. I got. It was like a mix between that and then the group from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, right. I definitely
You know?
thought about that film.
I thought
yeah.
about that. You know, when they go on the fishing trip
Yeah.
with Jack Nicholson. I
Yeah.
got that vibe quite a bit.
And also when all of them die. So when McKenna is talking about how these are the people that people don't remember. I thought that was definitely a kind of connection to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and films like that, because it's about people that don't really get talked about. And
Yeah.
people just think, oh, they're crazy, I'm never going to understand them. But actually, they can save lives and save the world and do all these amazing things.
Anouk, you spotted a familiar name.
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh, look, Gordon. And I was like, oh my God, it says Lawrence Gordon High School. That has to be a connection to Saw.
It was funny because this is October 5th. We've just recorded episode 5 of the Saw series, so that's why we spotted stuff like that. Well, Anouk just rapidly tapped me on the shoulder, going, "Oh my God, it's called Lawrence Gordon High School." I'm like, "You're shitting me, right?"
Yeah, it's well, you can leave the myth and imagine that's that, but it's actually the name of a producer of the first 2 movies.
Fair enough. I
enough.
would have been like, wait, why are they referencing Saw in a Predator movie? That's mental.
That would have been really funny, but I quite like how there's a connection to the Predator movies. Like, I think that's quite nice.
The Predator in a trap.
Oh God.
The bad guy in Predator 2 is played by Jake Busey, and his son, Gary Busey, and his son Jake is playing the doctor that welcomes Casey here.
I thought I did get a Gary Busey vibe off of that guy. Well, that does, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't know it was his son, but I did get a very Gary Busey vibe. Yeah. No, that makes sense now.
How lovely.
Oh, there is also in this one Ivan. Okay, so Strahovski, who's in Chuck also. That's McKenna's wife.
Okay.
Really great work across the board.
Definitely.
Casey is a bit clumsy, isn't she, with her trank gun?
She's not a shooter, basically.
I quite liked how she was very awkwardly like running, like waddling down, like trying to like outrun the predator, which she does. I mean, there were so many moments in this film where it was like, well, that would never happen. That was ridiculous. But it was kind of fine because you just suspended your disbelief, right? Like it was fine.
I mean, this is from the series that Arnold Schwarzenegger essentially survived a nuclear-sized blast.
Oh yeah.
From behind a log.
Yeah.
That's thanks for bringing Arnold in the mix. Something I forgot. The one major change in the from the original script is that Arnold. In the original script, instead of having a predator killer, they were at some point just ending the thing and meeting someone getting out of a chopper, and it was that Dutch. That was the guy. And he did not come with me if you want to live, but something like this. And there was the kid was like me too, like yeah, especially you. And then cut to black. They changed it because that was not substantial enough of a role, so Arnold Schwarzenegger turned it down.
He'll be back for the sequel. I guarantee it. 5. You heard it here first, and when we talk about the sequel, when he's in it, we can reference this exact clip for the opening.
No, well, you've heard. I don't know, but it's been said a few times that people analyzing the thing. Yeah, if there is a new one, obviously he'll come back.
Yeah. If they give him enough money, there's no reason for him to say no.
You know, Kerry Elway's it.
Even though he never came back. So.
Well, you know he did. They gave him enough money and he came back for 7.
Oh, we're not reached this one.
We're not there yet, but he's in 7.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, so there is because it's not good to do some predator shaming. So in this one, it's a beautiful motherfucker.
You're a beautiful motherfucker. Yeah, that was an interesting line. Mostly because I didn't really believe that she would say something like that. Like it just seemed really like. Why did they give that line to her? She wouldn't say that, would she?
Well, because our whole backstory about that, she, from 8, I think, she wrote that letter to the president, like, if you ever, I love animals, if you ever find a space animal, here's my number, So I don't. No, it didn't.
That wasn't true, was it? I thought she was taking the piss.
No. That's supposed to be true.
What?
Yeah.
I thought she was just being a sarky bitch.
No, it's supposed to be well in the script. It's clear that it's supposed to be true. How? Yeah.
I took it as true. I just mean maybe this is me saying it for the actor. I didn't believe her. Like I don't believe that she would say a word like motherfucker, rather than her thinking that it was a beautiful motherfucker.
Right. Right.
So that might have been,
Yeah. That's the rather than your one beautiful thing or
nobody.
animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody naturally says that word.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I mean,
Unless you're like, I think a lot of Americans can say it.
I guess Americans drop it all the time, but for British people over here, I don't. If I was going to swear at you, I wouldn't reach immediately for the MF word.
It sounds a bit strange, I think, for most people to say motherfucker because it's long. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, you got to say that with all those movies now where they improv a lot, like Ragnarok and stuff. I watched this movie once in IMAX. It was nice. And then a month later, I read the script, and it was exactly the same, pretty much, and until the third act. And I watched again with you guys yesterday. I was like, yeah, well, there's just delivering what's written, basically. So, yeah, that they had to have that line in there. You can see that Larry Fong is likes magic because in the bus with the loonies there is a back and front moment.
Alfie Allen, right?
I forgot to take my cards because I'm working on my back and front. I can fake one, but I forgot to take the cards. Maybe I'll do that in another episode.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can. Yeah, if you just do one side.
Oh shit! We never did any magic for episode 50.
That's cool. That would be amazing.
Yeah, but we didn't make it a thing to have the episode 50. Did we? Oh yeah, we did.
We did. Earlier on in Magic Month, I think we did say Yann should do a magic trick at 50. Oh well, 100 now. 75. It's 75 to do something.
Yeah, something. That would be amazing.
Once you can do your back and your, what's it called?
I don't know.
Yeah, and what's the trick called?
It's a back. No, it's a manipulation. It's the back. The card that goes from the back and the front. And like it feels like you have no card.
Right.
Like, that's exactly what it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So, but I'm just thinking that Alfie Allen wasn't actually in shot with his hand, was he? So it might not have been him.
I think he was, wasn't he?
I don't
maybe
know.
it may very well have been Larry Fong. Actually, I don't know.
Oh yeah. I just mean that I don't know if it was Alfie Allen or if it was just edited to look like it was him. But
how hard is the trick, Yann? Is it quite difficult?
No, it's not easy. But the thing is, that just like when we were at Acting Coach Scotland, I had some notions about juggling, and it took me like a full weekend to actually doing it like crazy to actually master it. I grasped the concept, so I could, I can, I'm.
Because we don't know about.
So you're saying that you can learn anything if you literally just do it for 2 days and do nothing else?
No. I mean, if I have to make sure I grasp the concept first, which usually takes a long time, like juggling the concept of how the balls are going in the air while you're juggling with 3 balls.
Right.
I had that when I did like circus school like 25 years ago.
All right.
I never went back to it, but when we did this exercise at SCS, okay, no, I know how it works, so I'll just focus on actually making it past like just 2 seconds.
Okay,
right.
Cool.
So I have the concept of the back and front, so I know how it works.
So it is teachable. So it could have been Alfie Allen. It depends, because we don't know if Alfie Allen's did magic as a kid. He could well have done.
I don't know. Like I know that in the Now You See Me, Dave Franco he basically became a professional magician. He was way more than all the other people involved in the films.
Because he talks about how he really enjoys it, and so you kind of get obsessed with it. I can understand how that happens.
This movie was slashed everywhere. Like we don't really care about the Rotten Tomato, but people it wasn't really appreciated. I'm not sure why. I've read written stuff just before, and there was no explanation as to why. It was just pure unadulterated hate, like Shane Black just destroyed the whole franchise.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, well, no.
You know, that makes an interesting question that might be quite interesting for some of our long-time listeners. So, and then we'll pick this up. Just curious, because so when you hear we're going to watch a movie and going to talk about it, if it's a modern release, do you guys look at reviews before you see the movie or before we record the episode in any capacity? Usually,
yeah, sometimes I do. But I won't. I don't think I'll read a review before I watch a film, just in case it clouds my judgment.
No, well, actually, I don't, because I avoid trailers. So obviously,
yeah.
But I watch reviews afterwards sometimes when I am entirely confused at what to think.
Right. I usually don't for episodes to form my own opinion and not try and be influenced by what other people are saying, because you know that thing, if you watch a review, right, and then they highlight something, you go, oh, that's a good point, and then you can't not think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it overrides some of your own review of it.
Yeah, so I might read one before actually recording an episode, but not before I'll watch the film.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I usually don't, but for this one I did look at the reviews this afternoon before we recorded, so before I went to bed so I could sleep on it. I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, I just read one just before, because I was confused as to why I liked it and everyone else seems to really dislike it. Like,
That's
so,
a shame. What do you know what they said? Like
but just something without any substance. Like, it was just I don't know. Maybe Shane Black had issues with that guy when he was a kid, or I don't know. But it clearly seemed like more pushing in a hate direction rather than explaining exactly what were the points. Like you can see clearly in our Ghostbusters Answer the Call why we didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
In that article, in that chunk of text, there was nothing really.
That sounds a bit like. Sorry.
The critical response is to do with the third act. I've read mostly. Most people criticize the ending of the film because it feels a bit like choppy.
Like tacked on a bit.
Yeah, a bit, and not like so. Up to that point is like a good event action ride, and then the end is a bit under executed.
No, well, but the first thing I've read, I think it was yesterday. Well, I don't remember when, but yeah, there was the guy picking on details. Like, there is something indeed that doesn't make sense. The Black Ops guy who approaches the spaceship at the end, you don't see any glasses, and then he has some, and when he enters, he removes them. Yeah, technically.
Oh, that was funny. I did laugh at that, and that was quite funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's weird.
I thought he put on the sunglasses. I'm like, why did he put them on? And then my head went, maybe he's thinking there's going to be like a bright beam of light, like usually there is in every, like, you know, in E.T. when the ship comes down and everyone's like, can't look at it because it's so bright. I thought maybe that's why he has it on, for the logic of himself. But they did just appear out of nowhere. I agree.
That sounds a bit like people wanted to hate this film, though. I don't think that it's like, you know, when you watch a film and you try and find all the things you hate about it. It's very easy to find that in every film.
Maybe we should talk about Venom then, because Venom is getting slated, but it feels like people wanted to hate that from the beginning.
I must say I liked it a bit because I have no history. So I don't know how Venom is supposed to be with Eddie Brock, his host. And so one of the few things that is said that is being good, and I agree a lot, I noticed that right away, is their relationship between the host and the symbiote.
Tom Hardy's a good cast for Eddie Brock. Much better than who we mentioned before, Grace. Was it Toby Grace? Topher Grace. I've talked about this previously somewhere. I don't remember what episode, but when he was offered that part, he said to Sam Raimi, he's like, "Are you sure you want me for Venom? Because I'm not Eddie Brock. Like, Eddie Brock in the comic is like this big, massive, muscular guy. Basically, what Tom Hardy's like, you know, hard guy. Yeah. He's like, I'm not that.
Right.
So,
but now that they have someone like Tom Hardy playing Venom, it's a bit strange that no one likes it. I mean, of course, it might be a bad film. I just mean that sometimes, especially with these fans, like, it seems like comic book fans and like people that have lived with this all their life and it's so important to them, they're never gonna like these films because it's almost like they've made the film in their heads before they've seen it, and then if it doesn't match every single part of their expectation, they'll immediately hate on it. And it's like, Yann, it might be better to watch something without any knowledge of what it was supposed to be, what you wanted it to be.
That's a great point, especially with Alien, because of Prometheus and Alien Covenant. So Prometheus, I really enjoyed. Like, I really liked that idea because it's basically what it seemed like what Ridley Scott wanted to do, you know. And then Alien Covenant kind of feels like the film you had to make because of the criticism you got for Prometheus, so it didn't execute. It was like half and half. It didn't follow what Prometheus would have followed up because people didn't respond well to Prometheus, and it's a poor Alien film because he didn't want to make an Alien film. He didn't want to make it yet about the Xenomorphs.
So his heart wasn't in it.
I don't know if his heart. That's probably not fair to say because his heart, as a person, heart is in it, and it is as a film. It's a competent film, but I feel like I wish he'd got the chance to make Prometheus 2 rather than Alien Covenant.
Right.
I feel.
Maybe Prometheus was a bit new, original, a bit like Saw, and Alien Covenant, Saw 5.
Oh dear.
No, that's quite that's quite fair to say actually.
Well, that just sounds a bit like a cat. Do you know what? I haven't seen this film, so I don't know.
We should do Prometheus because Prometheus will be interesting, especially because you don't know anything about it. It'll be interesting to see what you think of it with a non-biased fan.
I've got it. Sorry, 2 seconds. I got it on the Apple TV last week.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. I was just going to say that this is probably why people hate Predators. The Predators, sorry, because it's probably wasn't enough like the first Predator, and because it's got such a huge cult following, it's almost like people don't want to like this film because it's not going to be what they want it to be.
People don't have the connection to Predator. I mean, the only people that do have connection to Predator are people that saw it in the 80s or picked it up because of Alien versus Predator back in the 2000s as well.
Oh, so you think it's that?
I think it's a bit to do with that. I mean, when Yann said that Predators, the third one came out in 2010, I'm like, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that's true because actually, so some people are saying which I think there's the time passing effect because some people I've read recently saying I've actually rewatched Predators and it was not that bad. Well, I had a double dose of Predator action because indeed when I watched it when it was released, I had never watched Predators before, so I watched it the night before. And maybe I rewatched everything basically. So between Predator 2 and Predators, you had Alien vs Predator 2004 and Alien vs Predator Requiem 2007. I watched all of those.
God, 2004 was a busy year for horror.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think there's the time element. Maybe in 5 years or 10 years, Yeah, you know what?
Well,
the Predator was quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said with Alien, I mean that's why I think Alien Covenant did poorly. Because of the whole Prometheus, not the film that it wanted to make, sort of. Because remember, there was meant to be Alien 5 by the guy who directed District 9, Neil
Blomkamp.
Yeah, he was meant to do Alien 5, but that project fell through.
Yes.
Oh,
right?
District 9, man.
Which is a really good film, which
Yeah.
everyone was excited because they're like, oh my god, Alien 5, because it was meant Sigourney Weaver was going to come back and all this sort of stuff. That was the plan. It was going to continue while Ridley Scott went off and did Prometheus, which is what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you have this fan association, right? So you have the original Alien, which everyone is going to compare the rest of the series to because it's a phenomenal film. Then you have the success of Aliens, which is again it was a case for, my God, sequels can be as good or better than the first one.
Like The Godfather.
Or Toy Story.
Or Toy Story, yeah.
And then Alien 3 and Alien Requiem happened, and that just shot that in the foot because those films could not, even if they were great, they could not hold up to Alien and Aliens, right? So that then sets the trend of Aliens became a different thing.
That's
So
the
there's
problem though, isn't it? It's the expectations are always high, and that can be kind of detrimental on how you watch a film. I haven't seen any other Predator film other than the first one, the 80s one.
I'm the same.
So this might be completely wrong, but I feel like this one was a little bit more human oriented. Like you're talking about the family and the son and the fact that these soldiers are soldiers and they have PTSD, and it's a little bit more talking about humans. And then so there is less focus. Well, it connected to maybe Predators, where it was like.
Well,
the Predator never really hunted the humans.
A lot more. Well, a lot. I think the 80s one was it was like really, really connected to. I want my revenge on this creature, and that's all that it was focused on. While as this one was kind of connected to the relationships that were around.
Do you mean the whole film, or do you mean the Predator relationship? You mean the whole meaning of the film?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I was getting confused.
Well, I just mean that the Predator, it was all about the relationships as well. You got really into the characters.
Yes.
Rather than in the 80s film, it's a little bit more about taking revenge on this. So maybe fans didn't like that change.
I don't think the Predator, the only reason it's hunting humans, right, is because the humans have its stuff. And then at the end, the big one decides, I'm going to hunt you now because I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was because he has really high intelligence, so he's bringing
in this one, because it's explained a few times clearly. Well, it's explained clearly here that the whole point of them hunting is to find the most suitable gene pool and to be able to hybrid themselves in their best version. And each planet, so there are trophies, but they also take samples. To make
So Rory is the only person who's been able to deal with the Predator tech exactly.
Oh, there's the funny scene which I only realized that was happening after reading the script, when he's basically piloting the incoming Predator ship.
Yeah, exactly.
And like changing the invisibility cloak, and the other was what's happening there?
It's a nice touch because it was also like a vulnerability point for the Predator, because he's just there like with his dogs around him, and he's like, "Whoa!" The dogs are like, "I don't know." It's like, oh my god, this is great. This is really. I do know what, I laughed the whole way through this film. I thought it was great. I thought it was really different to the first Predator, the 80s version. So maybe that was my point. That's why people don't like it, because it's not the same film.
Was this meant to be a comedy?
I thought it was very action heavy at times.
Was it meant to be an action comedy though? That's
I
that's
think
the thing. That might be why people are having a big thing about it, because Predator's an action flick. Like we talked about this specifically in our episode. Like, this is a good old fashioned 80s action flick.
But I think Shane Black actually talks about that like there is so much desensitizing towards the Predator because it's kind of everywhere now and it's so famous, that maybe it's okay to bring a bit of comedy in it because he's not actually that scary anymore.
And well, I don't know, but what I for sure is that, just like Alien, the Predator in the first movie, we don't see him that much. What has been said about the Alien versus Predator is that basically, and that's why they are hated mostly, is because there isn't pretty much any Alien versus Predator action. Like in a 2 hours movie is like 5 minutes. So it was like, it's just humans interacting with the... so that's I know that's why those movies were not liked. So probably the people think that there were not enough Predator action, which you have more in Predators. So maybe that explains why this one may be a bit more appreciated, because you have way more Predator stuff in Predators.
Yeah, I think that was sort of what I was trying to say. And Yann said it in one sentence. without rambling, which is what I do. Yes, so maybe there was not as much predator stuff that they wanted. It was more about like family and the soldiers.
Yeah, but you see, oh, by the way, Hereditary, the hour that was cut will never be released anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, the Ari Aster said like he was happy with that cut in the end, and that's done.
no, that's sad.
Yeah, whereas this was actually filmed and reshot, so the scenes are there. It's just all the hybrids and the spiders and the mosquito, well, the predators, that stuff are not there.
Well, they got to keep that for the sequel now.
Yeah, I don't know. We talked about the concept of having the PM and AM predator.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did we like the predator dogs? I thought they were really odd looking.
Well, you haven't seen Alien 3 yet.
Yeah,
Alien 3 is like it's a hybrid between a xenomorph and a dog.
And a dog.
Yeah,
So maybe they were going for that kind of thing. Like, oh, they also have their pets.
They looked like, I don't know if Yann's ever played. You ever played Fallout?
No.
Right, in Fallout, it's like you survive. You survive of like a nuclear war. Like everyone's dropped a bomb and it's like all radiated and stuff. So the people that have been affected by the radiation become like these like super mutant things, and they have dogs, which are obviously mutated from regular dogs, and they look exactly like that.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's kind of that bubbly kind of
Melted skin look.
Yeah, exactly.
In the predators, the dogs that are there, their face look a bit more like the actual predator pussy face thing, which I think in the designs for the predator also looked like this. I think so. Maybe they change. I don't know, but they look. They do not look like their face is not predator like.
Yeah, right.
In any yeah.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I don't. Did you? So I watched the first time to focus on everything, the story and everything. I tried to focus on the cinematography on the second one, which I struggle with watching the cinematography, because it's basically what you're seeing on the screen. So I don't know, what am I supposed to watch? Like the angles and. Do you have anything to say about the cinematography?
There's some really nice shots. I mean, when we get the death of the two characters,
yes, they shoot themselves
up the tree and on the floor. I thought that was a very nice
I noted that
moment. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Where else? I thought the shadow effects with the predator were clever enough, because we go, wait, that's a bit too big to be that predator.
Yes.
You know, it gives that illusion of like, this is not what you think it is. I thought that was very good too.
Oh, that wasn't the real one.
Yeah, I know, and that's another point, I think. And then there's some other lovely shots as well. I mean, the whole the predator on the rooftop scene was I quite enjoyed the cinematography of that as well.
Yes,
that was nice.
Definitely. I quite like the design of the science lab. And the decontamination scene. I quite liked that. It was like and it didn't seem kind of over the top. Like it seemed real, like that would exist, and that's how it is. And you know, even like them taking their clothes off, it didn't seem disgusting or distasteful. Yeah, it's a kind of like, it was really well done. And I also quite like how Rory ends up in like a football field.
Yeah.
And then he sees the dog, and then the predator dog comes out. I was like, are they following each other? It was really nice.
Oh yeah, and they actually had the occasion to keep and pet the predator dog in the end.
Yes, the predator dog was like really cool.
Yeah, they lobotomized it essentially.
Yeah,
it's like, it's grim.
Yeah. Did anything jump in your mind? I need to talk about this.
It's funny because I'm sitting here looking back at it, and I'm thinking back from when we used to watch films together at the cinema. Like, I'm thinking back very much to when we watched Atomic Blonde together, right? Because this reminded me of when we watched Atomic Blonde, not in the film, but just when we watched it together. And when we were watching that, we were just, I remember me and Yann watching Anouk react to everything.
Yeah.
But I do remember the first like 10 to 15 minutes of Atomic Blonde. We were a bit like, oh, is this any good? And then we got into it. Whereas in this film, it really is an enjoyable film throughout. I can't remember since Baby Driver being in the cinema enjoying a film like this as much, like having an enjoyable time while watching it, which I think is a very good achievement to get a film to make you feel enjoyment, because that's quite hard to do, especially with so many films out right now. You know,
Yeah.
so I thought that was quite a big achievement.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of entertaining. Like, I'm not going to say it's the best film ever made, because it was entertainment, but that's what it is. Like, I don't know. Maybe the fans wanted it a little bit darker.
It's difficult to talk about what the fans want because all three of it. Well, Yann's the only one close to a Predator fan. I mean, Anouk, you'd never seen them, and I'd always been an Alien person. That's why I'd stayed away from Predator, honestly, because I remember they fought each other. And that age, I was like, all right, you have to like one or the other. You know, like when they made you think you had to buy Xbox or Sony, you know, Microsoft or Mac, all those ridiculous feuds.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, all right, I'll be an Alien fan, and I never really got into Predator, so
Yeah.
I don't know what they would want. I know what I'd want in an Alien film, but I don't know what I'd want in a Predator film. So it's difficult to say, like, what do you think was missing?
Except that one, you said a beautiful motherfucker line that was probably out of character for a human being, not let alone her. I think we faced pretty decent and real people there. So
Yeah, the dialogue I thought was pretty different from what you expect in these sort of action flick films. I thought, like we said earlier, the dynamic between the loonies was really good. I really enjoyed every scene that they were in. There was never, because usually you have that problem in every group. There's that one character you're just like, you don't warm to, and when they go, I mean, Alfie Allen kind of does get written out quite quickly. I mean, he's not developed as much, but even then, he's still involved in every scene. It's still there. Although he wasn't in the scene when she wakes up from the whatever tranquilizer dart. I didn't see him in that scene, so I don't remember seeing him in that scene.
The awkward scene with a cup of coffee on the bed and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really nice. It was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
I did have one thing I wanted to say actually. When he swallows the
yes,
the cloaking thing, I'm like, that's gonna hurt a hell when that comes out.
I'm
like, a solid metal ball.
Oh.
Also, the speed that he eats a thing that's come from space, he just decides, I'll eat this.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the reflection you had. No, I when I saw that scene again, I was like, well, that's a bit big to swallow like that.
I was thinking that. I was like, no way do you swallow that
He's
quickly.
taken tips from John Kramer with the cassette.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
wax.
Like, who are these people that are swallowing cassette tapes and big metal
balls? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
swallowing marbles.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess he's a soldier.
Oorah.
Yeah, or it's just people people putting stuff into their orifices. We are playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey currently, and they're being a bit bold in what they're doing, right? Cassandra put the eye of Cyclops in the goat's ass recently.
Yeah,
she did.
That was pretty intense.
That was hilarious.
Okay.
It's like, all right, girl.
All right.
Cool.
And we don't even see her going get it back afterwards.
No.
I thought, hey, the goat's over there. It wasn't the goat. I was like, oh, that's a shame.
Do you feel you have anything else to add?
There was something I wanted to talk about. At the end, at the end of the film, so they like, I did enjoy. No, I have to talk about the actual climactic battle with the upgraded Predator is a bit short. So they like fight it in the woods, and then it runs away, and then they chase it down in a spaceship, which is fine. All of that's fine. Everyone sacrifices themselves to get the sun, which again is nice. But the actual climactic bit at the end where like they shoot him and there's like the final fight, almost, you know how Arnold had it in the first one, where he like paints himself up in mud and then they fight off for maybe like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it's quite a long,
slow
scene.
That wasn't as good in this one. It felt rushed.
It did feel right. And I mean, even like the Predator killer reveal was
That was-
quite rushed, and the fact that it just went black, and it's like, okay, that looks like you just want a sequel. Like,
It reminded me how Saw 5 ended.
yeah, like, oh, you don't worry, we'll be back, so we don't need to have like a proper ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is clearly the same kind of open ending in the original script with Arnold Schwarzenegger character coming
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
The other thing was when they were like, it left as a gift. I was sitting there going, alien egg, xenomorph egg.
Honestly, I was thinking exactly the same thing.
I was sitting there going, oh, is this film made by Fox? If this film is made by Fox, we might get it. But
Please
then
make that a
But then
xenomorph.
even that, when that was going on, I'm like, oh, didn't they sell? They sold off that Fox sold Alien to Disney, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
all there.
Because there was the joke that the xenomorph is now an alien princess,
Yeah.
Disney princess.
I knew what was coming, but I was sitting next to you. I was should I mess with his brain? It just whispers, xenomorph.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's literally the
"Oh."
first thing that I thought, because also it looked quite alien-like.
Yeah, it
with
looked
the goo and the black. Looked a bit like the Prometheus thing.
It looked a lot like the engineer.
Engineer, thank you.
The
that's what I
engineers
meant.
from Prometheus and the space jockey from even the first film.
So I was literally like, oh my God, they haven't. That is
That would've been-
fucking beautiful. And then it became Predator, which actually I quite like the fact that it attached itself onto someone and then became that was actually really well done. But then to Blackout, it was a bit like, oh, it's over. Okay.
Join
Yeah.
us next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't talk about the budgets and stuff because it's not with inflation but so there's no really need.
Also, the beginning of the film is very much the beginning of the first film. Whereas, like, oh, that shoots an alien.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the same kind of movie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
They try to understand what that thing is, whereas we know exactly what it is from the very start
Yeah.
of this one.
Right.
In our Predator episode, we talked about the 4K-ness of it because we watched it on our 4K TV. It was the first time we watched it on Ultra HD and stuff. I'd like to add a few things. Something that is quite cool and that Apple TV does, and I've got the Prometheus on that. Now more and more they actually upgrade the movies that you have into Ultra HD without any fees. So like if you purchased like Prometheus 5 years ago before the 4K was like they'll just have you the 4K upgrade without having to buy anything more. It's probably in terms of advice that we gave at the time. Now the cheapest option is probably this Apple TV.
Okay.
Because for instance I've got all of the Harry Potters for £24.
Right.
4K was like the 24 euros.
Okay.
The only thing about the Ultra HD Blu-rays is the bitrate. That is 5 times what you have on streaming. So if you really if you were into music hi-fi, you put little things under your to avoid the earth trembling and stuff. You should, I mean, basically, if you're a sound or video fanatic, you probably should go with the Ultra HD. But if you're a bit less good on the money, Apple TV is what I would recommend all the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Rating, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So Anouk, Yann was The Predator, good, bad, or just plain standard? Anouk?
It was good.
Good.
It was really good. Yeah.
Any flares?
Fun.
Fun. Yann?
So I would say it's an excellent continuation into the Predator universe.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it in good as a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not even guilty because
I'm not guilty.
Yeah.
Adam?
John Wick good. I know we said we'd retire that phrase, but this is a John Wick good movie.
Right.
You know,
enjoyable.
well, I really enjoyed John Wick. So John Wick good began as a phrase of like, yeah, it's good, but it's not amazing. But now that I actually enjoy like John Wick 2 and John Wick, right? Like, those films are enjoyable. Like, if you're in the mood for an enjoyable film, I'd put this on, you know?
Yeah. You don't think
Um,
it's better than John Wick? No.
No, I don't. I think it's enjoyable, but I think as I kept watching it again and again and again, that initial enjoyment will start to fade out, and I'll be looking at a film that I'm like, right, there are some flaws in this, you know?
Oh, fair. Yeah, definitely.
So as you know, films age, if I put it higher and I thought about it and watched it again, it probably would sink lower. But it is in the good category as an enjoyable action flick comedy. You know, it's good. It's the same sort of, you know, Thor Ragnarok did the same sort of thing, but this done it with Predator. It's fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about not necessarily the marketing campaign, but the whole fact that there was an upgrade was basically on the poster.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, they should have kept that for a twist.
Yeah, well, I did see, because there's like you talked about Thor Ragnarok. They quickly disclosed the fact that there was the Hulk in the thing.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a massive. But there were some similarities here with. Is a very good thing with what they did in Stargate. We need to talk about Stargate at some point.
Indeed.
In the fact that they have this new thing that they're investigating. And they get an expert, like, well, it was Daniel Jackson in Stargate, now that's the Casey bracket, and there's the whole thing that does the kind of stuff that was neat in the aspect of Stargate, like. But anyway, yeah, that was us.
That's the
for,
Predator.
For the Predator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have anything else to add apart from well done, Larry Fong? Woo! We're good.
Yeah, I think we are.
So we were
Adam.
Anouk.
and Yann. Bye. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard podcast. If you like what you heard, you can leave us a review via iTunes. If you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Good, Bad, Standard Podcast on both platforms. If you fancy seeing the live streams that we talk about on the podcast, they can be found on youtube.com. You search for Milk in a Wineglass. There are other bits and bobs on there too, just to see what Yann's up to during the week. And if you really like us, like really, really like us, why don't you head on over to patreon.com/goodbadstandardpodcast and have a look if you want to support us. Any small donation is appreciated.